Critter Trades here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the OEDRO all-weather floor mats, and these are full weather mats, and they have a whole lot of different models that they fit. They do the Kia Telluride, the Grand Cherokee, the Ford Explorer, to name a few. You can check out a link in the description to purchase these and check them out on Amazon and see which models that they have. They also have different ones depending on different variations of vehicle for 2-3 row vehicles. If you want the trunk liners, like this big one here to fill in the back space behind the seats. So depending on what your need is, they have a lot of different options to fill that need for you. This one came with the two fronts, the second row, and then the cargo liner here. And the best thing about these mats by far is the price. These are like a third or a half of the cost of WeatherTech's or some of the bigger brands in this space, and they really don't sacrifice much quality to get at that price point. So if you're looking for something to upgrade to a rubber, a much more durable mat that's not going to just sit there and soak up snow and slush like your carpet mats would, these are a really awesome option, and you can save a ton of money going with this. So as you can see here, this one came with the two fronts, the second row, the third. They have these nice little nubbins here, so it looks a lot better when you install them. Some of them have an opening there where the little nubbins are to hold the floor mats down, and if you have an opening, it looks a little bit less finished than it does when you have these on here. So it looks a lot more finished with these, and the coverage is very good. The one thing I will say on these mats is some of them are a little shallow in spots. The cargo liner specifically is a little shallow on the end. I think that's not that big of a deal, especially because most people don't put like open liquids, or they're not eating back in the back cargo area. And it does kind of flow out towards the back hatch too. The sides and the front area have a pretty good edge on them, but the back is a little bit lower. I don't think that's a negative at all, just something to point out for sure. The second row mats are very deep, which I think is the most important thing, especially if you have kids in the back. They make the biggest spills. So having a deep dish in the second row is really helpful, and these ones do have a very good second row dish on them. The front mats also do have a very good dish and sidewall on them. So if you do spill something in here, it's going to contain the spill, which is what you want them for. The only other thing to note about them is that they are quite a bit more flexible than some other mats. I don't think that's a negative as well. It's just depending on what you want out of a mat. Like I know a lot of the brands, like some of the more expensive ones, are much more rigid. Sometimes when they're more rigid, they're harder to get out of without dumping the contents though. So sometimes you do want them a little bit more flexible. I would say these are somewhere in the middle range in terms of flexibility. They're not flopping around all over the place. They're not super rigid. And I think that's a good level of rigidity that these have. Not too much, not too little. So if you do want really good protection for your vehicle and you do want to save a couple $100, definitely go with OEDRO. They have really awesome floor mats, and I highly recommend them. They are miles better than the carpet mats at a fraction of the cost of some of the name brands, and they really aren't that much lower in quality than some of those $300 mats you're seeing. This set here, it's on sale I believe for like 90 or 110, so depending on the sales that they have, you can get them for pretty cheap, pretty reasonable, but like full price, I think some of them are around 150, again depending on which model you do, and that's still almost half the price of like a WeatherTech mat. If you have any questions about these mats, the fitment, the finish, any other thing at all, post them in the comments and I'll answer those for you as well.